Headline from thehill.com, well-known journal out of D.C. U.S. companies are scratching college degrees from job ads. Let me just give you a list, okay, very quickly. The majority of U.S. roles at IBM no longer require a 4-year degree. This is IBM, folks, not McDonald's. It's IBM. Bank of America. I don't know if they're the largest bank in the country, but I'm going to say they're in the top 2 or 3, big bank. Okay? Bank of America no longer requires college degrees for the majority of their entry-level jobs. Which, can I just explain that? If Bank of America isn't requiring a degree for entry level, that means if you want to move up in banking, there's a good chance if you go in and crush it on the entry level, you'll never need a degree to move up and even move to a corner office at Bank of America. That's what that means. Walmart, the country's largest employer, said it values skills and knowledge gained through work experience, and that 75% of its U.S. salaried store management started their careers in hourly jobs. Man, that is so good. I'm going to say it again. Walmart said that 75% of their U.S. salaried store managers started their careers in hourly jobs. One other quick point on this, and I'll move on to our next story. Apprenticeships are coming back, and I love it. I have said many times on the show, remind you that the American economy really was built on the apprenticeship model through the trades. Instead of an electrician, it was a silversmith, maybe. Instead of a plumber, it was a blacksmith. Right? It was carpenters. I mean, when they built America from the ground up, when you moved into work, it was through apprenticeships. On-the-job training. Well, it never really went away, but it is gaining in popularity. Google and Accenture, one of the top consulting firms in the United States, have also launched apprenticeship programs aimed at bringing in workers without degrees. More than 100,000 people have completed Google's program, and another 150 companies are now using this program to hire entry-level workers. So that is all good news. Why do I tell you that? Hey, look, parents, you need to understand your kid may not be a college kid, and your kid may not be a white-collar kid. And can we just get okay with that? Can we? NPR story perfectly dovetails off of that point. Justin Mwanjalulu. Well, I worked on that one before the show today, and I still don't know if I got that right. Is 20, and he loves to build stuff. These days, as a carpentry apprentice, he installs drywall in houses with the rest of his construction crew, but he has said that he likes concrete work the best. Why? At the end of the day, you see how you poured everything, the result of your hard work. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever seen concrete, sidewalks being laid, foundations, slabs of houses. I have. I had a job in construction early on. And I will tell you, I can see how this young man gets great satisfaction out of a really nice concrete project. When these men, they set up the forms, if you will, they pour the concrete into the forms, and they begin to smooth it out by hand. And you can see someone who cares about detail, who cares about aesthetics, who cares about order. You could see them getting tremendous satisfaction out of this big old blob of concrete. They smooth it out. And before the concrete dries, I got to tell you, it's very satisfying to look at. So here's a young man who knows who he is. Let's go on. He dreamed of becoming a carpenter or an electrician as a child. Gen Z, often described as people born between 1997 and 2012, they're on track to become the most educated generation. And as a result, fewer young adults are choosing trades. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because for decades, and we're talking the 70s, 60s, and 70s, there was a cultural stigma that if you went to higher ed as your next step out of high school, you were going to have a better life. Just that simple. So while no one was walking around openly trashing the trades, what do you think young people are going to think when all they hear from their parents, all they hear from their teachers, all they hear from their coaches, all they hear from their principals, all they hear from grandma and grandpa, all they hear from Uncle Larry and Aunt June, all right, all they hear is, where are you going to college? Where are you going to college? Where are you going to college? What does it say? If I don't go to college, I'm a big, giant disappointment. That's what it says. So any wonder that the millennials and Gen Z, it's getting worse, where they just look down their nose? And I'll tell you this. I think we've gotten to a point where Gen Z, it's not even that they're looking down their nose at the trades. I don't even think they're thinking about them. And why would they? Well, let's talk about the kids that probably are thinking about the trades and should be thinking about the trades. This is the young man's story. Mwanjalulu. Justin Mwanjalulu. I got to say that at least 3 times all the times I practiced it. I still don't know if I got it right. There he is. Look at this young man. Now, first of all, I want you to notice the smile on his face. That's not a fake smile. I have teenagers. I know fake smiles. Every family picture I have is pretty much a fake smile. That's a real smile on that young man. Well, he lives in Iowa City, Iowa. He's in his second year of a 4-year carpentry apprenticeship. Well, he found school difficult. So did I. School in large. I had some really good subjects, but I had some rough subjects. Science and math. That part of my brain is, as you know, I've said this many times, is completely dark. This is his quote. Man, school was hard. But his twin brother, who is now studying to work in banking, excelled. But Mwanjalulu said he struggled with writing in English. And then he goes on to say, I'm not this type of guy that likes being in the same spot all day long. See, parents, we got to pay attention to statements like that and not take a statement like that as like some immature, well, I just don't like this. And then you think, well, suck it up, Buttercup. You need yourself a good white shirt and learn how to tie a tie. And let me tell you something. That's the wrong response. They ought to hear that and go, hey, Justin, why is it that you don't like to be in the same spot all day long? That's the response. Around high school graduation, he got depressed because he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He just knew he didn't want to go to school. Many of his friends who went to college and graduated were struggling to find jobs. Well, now he earns $24 an hour as an apprentice. All right, and I did the math on that, folks. At a 40-hour work week and 52 weeks a year, if he doesn't take any vacation, that's $50,000 a year. That doesn't include overtime. He's 24. He's entry level, making $50,000 a year. So the narrative is shifting, and the narrative needs to shift. There are kids who don't want to do white-collar work. They aren't designed to do white-collar work, and they aren't losers if they make that choice. And parents, you have got to swallow your pride, and you got to be okay encouraging your kid to be who they uniquely were designed to be. And what's the path? You're not a loser if your kid doesn't go to the big state school. And I know this is hard, parents, because you want what is best for your kid. But what is best for your kid is not what is best for your feelings. It's time to wake up, folks, or else you're going to have your kids miserable in their 40s and 50s.